You shock your pool at night, the water's not perfect, but it's not terrible either. You go to bed thinking you handled it, but you wake up the next morning and it looks worse. More cloudy, more white, almost thicker than before. And now you're standing there thinking, did I overdo it? Did I mess up the dose? Or did I just make this worse? Because shock is supposed to clear cloudy water, not create it. So why does it sometimes look like it did the opposite? Here's what makes this frustrating. It didn't cloud up immediately, and it looked fine for a while. Then hours later, it turned milky. If shock caused it, why the delay? If it worked, why does it look worse? Before you shocked it, there was already material in the water. You just couldn't see it clearly. Microscopic algae, organic debris, particles hovering just below visibility. The pool didn't look green, it looked mostly fine. But mostly fine isn't the same thing as clean. It was slowly drifting. When you shock the pool, chlorine spikes aggressively. It oxidizes organic material fast, like bacteria, algae, anything living, or breaking down. But when those organisms die, they don't disappear. They break apart, and broken particles don't sink immediately. They suspend, and suspended particles scatter light. That scattered light is what you see as cloudy water. You may be asking, but why didn't it happen instantly? Because before you shock, those organisms are still alive. Clinging to surfaces, blended into the water, almost invisible. When they die, they detach. That detachment takes time. Circulation spreads them, and only then does the water turn milky. It didn't appear overnight, it became visible overnight. So did the shock fail? No. In many cases, the shock did exactly what it's meant to do. So why does it look worse? Because now you're seeing what was hidden. Did you add too much? Not necessarily. The cloudier it gets after shock, the more buildup was probably there. That's the uncomfortable part. It feels like shock was the cause of the problem. But most of the time, it reveals how much was quietly accumulated. You shock the pool at 9 p.m. You go to bed, wake up, then the water looks worse. You assume you miscalculated, so you think about adding more. But instead, you waited and let it circulate. You check and clean the filter, you give the system time. And over the next day or two, it begins to clear. Not because the shock suddenly started working, but because you let the filter catch up. Nothing went wrong. The process just needed 2 halves to finish. Here's where people actually create a bigger problem. They see cloudy water, they assume shock failed, so they added more. Now you're killing material faster than the filter can handle. The water thickens, the filter strains, and the cycle repeats. It's not failing, it's overloaded. Where people get in trouble is solving a filtration problem with more chlorine. Shock handles one part of the equation, filtration handles the other. Shock kills, filtration clears. If the second can't keep up with the first, it looks worse before it looks better. Once you understand that relationship, the reaction stops feeling random. So what's the move when it clouds up after shock? Resist the urge to dump more chemicals, run the pump continuously, make sure the filter is clean enough to catch fine particles. Give the system time to complete the second half of the process because most of the time, cloudy after shock doesn't mean failure. It means the cleanup phase just started. Shock didn't make the water cloudy, it exposed what was already there. And once you see it that way, that worst moment stops feeling like a mistake. If you want to understand why your pool walls start feeling slippery, even when your water looks clear, this next video connects directly to what we just talked about.